Good afternoon, and greetings from Johannesburg, South Africa, where I'm teaching a class here this week. And knowing that the internet connectivity can be a little bit shaky at times, recorded this just this morning, and our Vice President Tim Jakes was gracious enough to hit the play button for me. Now, I'm on the call, though, and will be answering questions. In case my internet goes out, though, I didn't want you all to be in the dark. Also, I apologize for my voice. I think the combination of springtime allergies in Michigan, where I live, coupled with the 17-hour flight and teaching all week, have taken their toll on me. But I'll do my best not to let it be a distraction. So this is me. I've been around the block a little bit, and today I'm excited to share with you some insights into sustainable development and the goals and how it relates to project management. Specifically, I'm going to cover 4 key points. The first, what are the SDGs? How do they integrate with business? How do they resonate with projects and project management? And what can organizations and PMs do to contribute to them? Now, this presentation largely speaks to strategy that projects seek out to achieve. Every project, program, portfolio is started, driven, supported, and governed by external drivers. People, organizations, societies, they want things. They demand things. Somewhere along the line, realizing what people want gets so complicated that a project or program is considered. It's rare, though, that any project or program is executed in a vacuum. They're influenced by their organizational, societal, and political context. The drivers for every project can be roughly divided into the formal and explicit goals and needs of the organization and/or society. A clear example of a set of formal, explicit, and present drivers of projects is a strategy of an organization. Strategy is based on, hopefully, clear goals and objectives, and more often than not, projects and programs contribute to these goals and objectives. As you can see here, key knowledge on strategy includes sustainability principles, of which you're going to get a full dose of today. They call for worldwide action among governments, business, and civil society to end poverty and create a life of dignity and opportunity for all within boundaries of our planet. They explicitly call on all businesses to apply their creativity and innovation towards solving sustainable development challenges. They've been agreed on by all governments, and their success relies heavily on people like you and me. They represent an opportunity for business-led solutions and technologies to be developed and implemented to address the world's biggest challenges for the people and our planet. So why are they important? Well, they do several things. They lift billions of people out of poverty. They strengthen education. They help make progress on gender equality and empowering women. They ensure that our global economy operates safely within the capacity of the planet to supply essential resources such as water, fertile soil, metals, minerals, sustaining our natural resources. And they foster accountable and well-governed institutions. Now, obviously, in 1 hour, I can't cover all the SDGs. I will touch on a couple, and at the end I'll give you a location where you can download them all in detail. But I want to touch on one that everyone is talking about: climate change. Around the globe, governments are confronting the reality that as human-caused climate change warms the planet, rising sea levels, stronger storms, increased flooding, harsher droughts, and dwindling fresh water supplies could drive the world's most vulnerable people from their homes. Between 50 million and 200 million people, mainly subsistence farmers and fishermen, could be displaced by 2050 because of climate change. According to estimates by the UN and also the Environment the Human Security and International Organization for Migration, we've got some major challenges ahead of us. Emissions anywhere affect people everywhere. It's an issue that requires solutions that need to be coordinated at every level. It requires industry cooperation to move towards a low-carbon economy. To address climate change, countries are adopting the Paris Agreement, but governments alone can't create true change. It's up to organizations that span national boundaries and reach beyond those boundaries to drive these goals home. There are 4 key business drivers. 1 is energy efficiency. Another is making the right environmental investments. Also, tailoring and putting a price on GHG emissions, and looking at the risks and opportunities due to climate change within our projects. There are 2 key business actions. Increase investment and innovation to improve the efficiency of the companies. Companies can contribute to this SDG by decarbonizing their operations and supply chains through continuously improving energy efficiency, reducing the carbon footprint of their products, services, and processes, and setting ambitious emissions reduction targets in line with climate science. They can also scale up investment in development of innovative, low-carbon products and services. This requires project managers to also understand how to drive those forward. Now, SDG number 11 will impact PMs as the requirements for development projects will speak directly to this goal. 3 key targets, and with these, I'm not sharing all the targets, only a few. There's actually over 169 targets in total. But with this one, by 2030, to reduce the adverse per capita environmental impact of cities, including by paying special attention to air quality and municipal and other waste management. By 2030, provide universal access to safe, inclusive, and accessible green and public spaces, in particular for women and children, older persons, and persons with disabilities. By 2020, substantially increase the number of cities and human settlements adopting and implementing integrated policies and plans towards inclusion, resource efficiency, mitigation, and adaptation to climate change. Now, number 9 is one that many project managers will easily be able to wrap their heads around. Now, SDG number 9 is one that many project managers will be able to wrap their heads around a little bit easier than, say, climate change. It focuses on promoting inclusive and sustainable industrialization, and by 2030, significantly raising industry's share of employment and GDP in line with national circumstances and to double its share in the least developed countries. So, 3 key targets. To develop reliable, sustainable, and resilient infrastructure, including regional and trans-border infrastructure to support economic development and human well-being, with a focus on affordable and equitable access for all. The second one, to promote inclusive and sustainable industrialization, and by 2030, significantly raise industry's share of employment and gross domestic product, GDP, in line with national circumstance and double its share in the least developed countries. The third one, by 2030, upgrade infrastructure and retrofit industries to make them sustainable. That's a lot of work. This means that the projects that will be coming online will demand that the people who are managing them can deliver on these. Every organization's sustainability journey is as unique as the products and services they provide. I'm going to show you a lot on this slide to help put into context the adoption, integration, context, measures, so bear with me here a second. Organizations adopt sustainability for different reasons. It could be due to a crisis or to meet regulatory compliance. These are more on the low end or less mature end. They're driven by risk. Organizations that want to optimize, establish market differentiation, and base their existence on sustainability are the proponents. Use it to be more productive and to grow. The context is important. For organizations that focus on crisis or compliance are most commonly trying to respond to demands rather than use it as a way to engage stakeholders and create value. The measures are all three important as well. It isn't possible to focus on just one area. Environmental, social, and economic measures should be given equal importance. But the lenses are critical. These domains are unique, and I'm sure that all of us would agree that in order for anything to take root in an organization, if any one of these are foggy, value goes down and progress halts to a snail's pace. Now, what you see if you look up sustainability from a UN perspective or from a GRI perspective, you don't see portfolios, programs, or projects. You see executive strategy, operations, and culture. Well, it's impossible to change the culture of an organization, to drive anything into operations without taking into account portfolios, programs, and projects. So we put this here in heavy focus. Looking from a functional perspective, there's lots of ways to look at sustainability. Of course, your board of directors is looking at it. It's a financial perspective. Is it legal? But I want to focus on this call on portfolio, program, and project management. No one joined this call to learn about investor relations, so we'll just ignore this for right now. Let's talk about project management. The number of projects that are represented on this slide are in the hundreds. From designing an oil rig, its deployment, the creation of a new technology, the apps that run on it, usability, the merger of two companies, creating new variations of projects or products. These projects, while different, share many common threads. They must be on time, they must be within scope, they must be within budget, but ultimately, they must perform. Now, I want to go back to this here just briefly. Bring that up. Okay. Georg Kell, former UN Global Compact Executive Director, made a bold declaration last year in the meeting I was at. He stated that product owners and asset managers have woken up to the fact that sustainability is critical to their survival. And therefore, in the next 4 years, so this year and 3 years after it, sustainability will be at the forefront of all business. This brings full circle the need for project management to become a driving force in the global sustainability movement. Integration of the SDGs into project management begins with redefining the business case and requirements. It also means we must redefine what project success ultimately is. No matter what stage of integration the overall organization is in, whether it's crisis management, compliance, what have you, for PMs, the key isn't whether they're in to solve a crisis like BP or purpose-driven like Method Soap. The key for us is simply evolution. With that, I want to focus on two things. We have a flaw. If you're of the mindset, such as like Milton Friedman, who once said that the business of business is profitability, then this works just fine. This is also what got us to where we are today. From a global perspective, we're in a mess. That's why we have the SDGs. We must evolve beyond a manufacturing mindset towards value creation. So what's the evolution? Time, cost, scope, and quality. There are different variations, but essentially this is what we've all been taught from day one. A better approach is time, cost, scope, risk, value, benefits. This is moving towards a more professional approach, but we can still do better. In order to move towards value creation, we need to look at impacts and factor them into success. Time, cost, scope, risk, value, benefits, and social, environmental, and economic impacts, as well as the maturity of processes and lifespan and servicing of the asset. So now that I've totally upset the apple cart, let's look at another perspective. Here's this in a larger format. Principles. Project sustainability starts with the company's value system and a principled approach to managing portfolios, programs, and projects. This means that operating in ways that, at a minimum, meet fundamental responsibilities in the areas of human rights, labor, environment, and anti-corruption. Responsible businesses enact the same values and principles wherever they have a presence, and know that good practices in one area do not offset harm in another. That's why CSR isn't always the answer. It has to be organizational sustainability, and it has to bleed into projects. So why focus on principles? Well, principles release all stakeholders from the bureaucratic labyrinth. Individuals not only have room to make sense of daily choices, but the responsibility to do so. Principles are characterized as universal, they apply to the area of focus, they're self-validating, they're proven in practice over many years, they're empowering. Now, these 6 are derived from the UN Global Compact's 10 principles, the Earth Charter, ISO 26000, and several others. And so we've combined all these to make it easy for PMs to be able to adopt and understand. You can learn more about these 6 specific ones at greenprojectmanagement.org/principles. Also, a free resource that you can download is the P5 standard. P5 provides a measurable framework for portfolios, programs, and projects. You have the focus from a process and product perspective, the domain, so social, environmental, and economic, and elements by which risk can be measured and decisions can be made. So how do you use it? When you're performing a P5 analysis, it's important to look at the deliverables and the management processes that will be employed and their impacts. For example, if you're the project manager for a clothing retailer and your project is to get the new fall clothing lineup to the shelves by August, do you accept tenders from textile companies at low costs with quick turnaround in order to meet your constraints, knowing that they have a reputation for unethical treatment of employees and possibly even using child labor? Now, when this is discovered by consumers, what's the impact to the organization? It's pretty big. Using P5, you have a tool that outlines all the key areas of sustainability, maps to the SDGs, and provides you the opportunity to cross-reference your approach and deliverables to ensure that you're doing the right things the right way for the right reason. The question is, does it work? Based on the survey that we did of over 15,000 people who've downloaded P5, the number of individuals who believe that projects and project management are key to sustainable development is almost unanimous. Our data shows that adoption of sustainability in projects is at a slightly faster pace in Europe and the Americas as compared to the rest of the world. But they're catching up. Project managers, academics, and sustainability professionals comprise of the biggest adopters, and of them, the more senior in experience are the early adopters, which is a bit surprising. Those who have adopted the standard see an increase in overall project performance, which is a strong indicator that, among adopters, the shift has begun to expand project performance standards beyond time, cost, and scope, as I talked about earlier. Now, P5 was written prior to the SDGs being developed, so we actually mapped them, each of our elements, to the SDGs. So you can see that each one has at least one that is represented. So when you are mapping your projects and you're doing the risk analysis and benefits management, you can see that each one of them tied to a specific goal, which is great because you're able now to actually report on how your projects are contributing to these SDGs. This is critical. This is available for download, this document, sort of an add-on from that website as well. So we've covered the what, the why, and the how from a high level, and I want to focus on 6 key steps that are crucial to take into account if you want to adopt sustainability and focus your projects towards the SDGs. So we've covered the what, why, and how from a high level. I want to focus on 6 key steps that are crucial to take into account if you want to adopt sustainability and focus your projects towards the SDGs. Recognizing that the ability to integrate sustainability evolves over time, and that there is no one-size-fits-all approach, integration is in the shape of a circle. And this suggests that progress requires an iterative and ongoing process. After all, there is neither a right entry point nor an end point to an organization's sustainability journey. Nor is there an approach that ensures that any project will get every part of its strategy right during the initial pass. So commit, align, define, implement, measure, and share. I'll break it down a little bit here. The first step is to commit. Now, during this step, the project manager signals his or her commitment to stakeholders. But wait, projects aren't strategic, are they? Yes, they are. I'm going to get a lot of pushback here, but I will scream from any mountaintop that if you bring value from this perspective into a project and the project sponsor rejects it, fine. At least you've tried, but at least commit to trying and share this value. I can tell you, no one wants an upstart like Uber, for example, to make their business obsolete. There's a lot of focus now on products becoming more resilient. This is a key approach to making your asset or project outcome more resilient. The second step to integration is aligning. Equipped with a commitment to sustainable principles, the project team aligns its risks and opportunities as well as the impact of the resulting assets, operations, and activities on the SDGs. This happens on an ongoing basis in order to help executive leadership develop and refine their goals, strategies, and policies. So commit and align. Next step is to define. So based on its assessment of risks, opportunities, and impacts, the project manager and team refines goals and metrics specific to its context. Implementing. Step number 4. The project manager ensures ongoing adjustments to core processes, engages and educates team members, builds capacity and resources, and works with stakeholders to address and implement a strategy. The last 2. So, measure. The project organization adjusts its controls to capture, analyze, and monitor the performance and metrics established in the assess and define steps. Progress is monitored against goals and adjustments are made to improve performance. The last step is simply communicate, share. During this step, the project manager communicates on progress and engages with stakeholders to identify ways to improve performance continuously. In business, success depends on a variety of factors. An innovative idea, a brave entrepreneur willing to take risks, a good business model, capital to realize the idea, the right pool of people to build a strong organization, and a willingness to work with partners. With the right operating environment, a level playing field for competition, good incentives, and a bit of luck, success should follow. In the past decades, we've come to realize that prosperity, for a country as well as for a company, depends on more than accumulating wealth. We also need to nurture and protect the natural environment, to develop the right intellectual resources, to create a strong and motivated workforce, and support stable societies. Yet the world remains on an unsustainable path. Despite tremendous progress in the past century, challenges are mounting. Rapidly deteriorating environmental conditions, widening income gaps, severe resource constraints, economic uncertainty, widespread social upheaval and conflict. A set of difficult, interconnected problems that threaten to seriously undermine our social stability and prosperity. Humanity is on a deeply troubling path. But now there's hope. In the midst of all this, we're seeing encouraging signs of change. Human ingenuity and capacity for creativity and innovation is astonishing. Unexpected new technologies pop up every single day. Radical new approaches to doing business, such as the circular economies, sharing models, these SDGs, are flourishing. We also see new forms of collaboration at the international, national, and local levels, and across sectors that continually bring new ideas to the table. If we can make the right decisions and work together, we can change the path that we're on and make a leap towards a new, sustainable, inclusive, prosperous future for all. We have the capital, the knowledge, technology to create positive change. If we make the right choices, if we make them now, as project managers, it's just a matter of having a clear mindset and the right tools. These SDGs give us the right focus. It's a matter of can we do it and will we do it? So, to summarize, now you know what the 17 SDGs are, how they integrate with business, how they resonate with projects and project management, what organizations and project managers can do to contribute to them. I want to thank you all for your time, and before I end, I want to share our topic for June, which will be by Dr. Meg Infiorati. She'll be leading a great dialogue on approaches to team creation, attitudes, and behaviors. And with that, I want to thank you very much, and we'll open it up now to any questions you might have.